As Quantic get a take on Curse Academy, probably one of the most exciting in the day, I gotta say. One of the ones I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, it just started. It's very great. If people just got here, it's Quantic versus Curse Academy. And like you said, it does seem to be the deciding match of the day, but we're going to see if the... It is actually going to be fabbbyyy running an ADC. Kennen running it quite pokey right there. Taking the Q first.
Apple's just going to soak up everything. He knows he can make it back to base. They're going to drop a Draven Ward, turn it around, and get another one down, head over towards blue buff, and then Quantic checks out. Going to see a swing here from Curse Academy over to the Quantic blue buff side of things.
Yeah, so it looks
Red
like
pings on the brush.
Yeah, it looks like fabbbyyy. Oh, they are going to see Quantic running through that bush. Probably going to see an engagement here. Quantic, I do think, has the better level 1 with the AoE stun from Annie and the fact that Apple can taunt multiple people. They're going to try to get him as they come back.
They might end up running into him here through the tri-brush. Will they run low over a blue ward? Curse Academy will have the information they need and will be able to swing down underside by the golems, and everybody gets out of that one without any drama. A little bit of a breath-holding moment there for both sides as they were looking for some good fighting. Nice deep warding there by both teams, however, and the coverage for Curse Academy just going to pay off slightly more, allow them to avoid Quantic and the level 1 team fight that they no doubt wanted.
So, fabbbyyy is going top lane by himself. He brought Ignite, he didn't bring Barrier, so I think we might see that. Yeah, no, it's gonna be. Is it going to be Fiddlesticks and Nidalee in the middle? It is. It is. So like, all right. So I'm not wrong. I was right all along. It's the Fiddly. It's the Fiddly.
Yeah, Fiddlesticks.
The Fiddlesticks combo. Oh boy.
No, Steaks. No, you can't. You can't do one eye as an E and then not do the other one. You can't. I mean, come on. If we're gonna ruin English, we're going the full ham.
Nope. Curse looks
SuNo gonna play it back. Annie coming up to support there, and a lot of drama in the jungle around red buff. We'll see what's going to go on over there. Jaximus swinging around the far side. It's going to be Tsatsulow starts it up. Prime just going to miss the jump and bump there. Dark Wind going to bounce around. Gunza with some auto attacks. Spear lands from Jaximus on to Gunza. They're going to get the charm down, but with fabbbyyy reinforcing from the top, looks like Quantic may have to give this one over. Shen's in the area.
Yeah, but fabbyy's level 2.
Sloppy dance.
Fabby's level 2, Apple isn't. So there's a level advantage here for Curse Academy, and yeah, they're going to give it away.
Yeah, just let that one walk out of there. So a strong invade there. Tsatsulow wants to steal away. Gets it too. Wanted to steal away the big blue wraith and gets it.
Yeah, and Dark Wind does increase damage to minions, so the 50% increased damage there helped him pick that up very early on. I think he's also rocking some extra AP. Yeah, he is.
Curse Academy off to a very, very aggressive start indeed. Gunza gonna help out SuNo in mid lane. Keep things reasonable and make sure that Fiddlesticks does not have his way. I mean, if we're, fabbbyyy going to get caught with a taunt there, and Apple lays down some really good damage. fabbbyyy trades a little bit back, but just can't hang with the damage output of Apple right there. A little bit too beefy. Goes the Shen, and he'll get out of that one without too much trouble. The Dark Wind going to bounce around all over the place. SuNo doesn't take too much damage. We'll delay any Qs across the chops, but sends that one out anyway. And right now, the CS numbers getting started up. We'll say, I guess we're putting Kennen up against Caitlyn in general there, 25 to 17.
I was sitting there like,
we carry.
What are we going to do with that? It's like,
certainly it would be Locodoco and Rhux, not quite the comparable pair there.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to go with the range there. fabbbyyy is actually running dual penetration now in his masteries, so that means he's going to go for 1 or 2 Doran's Blades, and then he's probably going to start ramping up his AP, getting an Hourglass next. That's what I'm assuming. We'll see how it plays out, but he does go back and pick up another Doran's Blade for the staying power in lane. And looking at his runes, he doesn't have any lifesteal, so he's relying solely on the Doran's Blade to sustain himself early game.
Gunza keeping the harass strong as he can anyway, as he's on lane with SuNo. SuNo catching the second spear in a row to the side of the face, and starting to look a little ragged from it, down to about half health left. Up top, Apple pushing things into fabbbyyy and pings as there's a little kerfluffle in the jungle. And J4 not going to find any friends to hang out with. Will have a pink ward in range, so ward coverage over by the Wraith Path into River is going to get cleared away for Curse Academy there. Still dead even on the money, 5.5 minutes, and no really super heroic maneuvers there. Early red steal might have slowed Prime down a little bit in the jungle and has delayed any real action on the lanes from the junglers. And with 2 in mid lane, and Prime going to catch one at full range. Tsatsulow coming forward. Ignite goes down, Fear's there. Jaximus gets an auto attack. Tsatsulow picks up first blood as the Ignite gets one more ticket.
That was incredible. That was really strong, aggressive play there from Tsatsulow. And the Fiddlestick sphere is just so long, and the fact that he was able to pick up that Wraith again took more experience away from Prime, and he hasn't hit level 4 yet. And I think OneBadBrad is on the verge of 5. Yes, just hits 5 right there, so he's 2 levels ahead of Prime, and they are shutting down Prime right now.
Always a really, really rough one, especially when you got somebody that you want to get in and get down and dirty like Vi. It's rough when your jungler is behind, like you say, in any form or fashion, and they've just been really, really in control of Prime's movement around the jungle. We'll see if they can mount a comeback as the game rolls on, but early aggression from Curse Academy paying off for now. Rhux being attacked by Locodoco, but has pushed out. Gonna go ahead and drop Dragon mode and go for it. 90 caliber net will get Locodoco to back up, but that's about all that it will do. Rhux gonna just back it away as he sends the line over. Locodoco gonna hang out, finish off the minions there as Rhux heads on into friendly jungle territory to meet up with J4 for a lovely afternoon rendezvous.
Alright, so the level 6s are coming out here. That means Stand United is going to be available from Apple. So if another jungle invade comes, it'll actually be in the favor of Quantic here, and Tsatsulow might not fare as well as he did previously, but Prime no longer has his flash. He blew that, so his escape mechanism, aside from the Vault Breaker, is no longer available, so they might actually go full aggro on this, and yeah, they do. And does he steal it away? Yes, he does. OneBadBrad picks that up.
Gunza takes another shot from the spears there, and Apple going to taunt fabbbyyy under the turret, get some great damage down. Right now, just shy of a 1,000 gold lead for Curse Academy. And really, the big concern, I gotta say, it has to be Prime and what Quantic's going to be able to do to get Prime back into shape, especially with OneBadBrad having such a good run so far. Through the jungle. Hasn't been a lot of gank action, and again, one of the places you really look for a J4 to come out is going to be in the mid lane. That bottom lane situation with Locodoco constantly pushed over wouldn't be a bad spot for him to take a little party trip down the bottom lane, see what's up there. But mid lane been very, very quiet, and other than keeping Prime shut down, there hasn't been a lot of jungle action on the lanes. 8 minutes and 20 seconds in, we've got a first blood. Tsatsulow picked up off of Prime. Poor Prime, and just as I say it, J4 going to come down the bottom. Locodoco going to get a Stand United, come in and help out. They're going to get forward onto OneBadBrad. Apple picks up the kill. Rhux just going to have to check out of there, pops the W, and makes for higher ground as a flood of hurt comes in from Quantic's top lane.
That was a very good play there. OneBadBrad noticed that Locodoco wouldn't have had any ward coverage, so he pink wards as he comes down and walks all the way around. They thought he had Locodoco there. The flash came out from him, and he was able to get away. He wanted the Cataclysm, you could see it, but then the Stand United came out from Apple, and then he just came and picks up a double buff for his trouble, so when he gets back to lane, he's going to be even with fabbbyyy here, and he's also going to have a little bit of an edge on him.
So they're going to get the charm down, put some damage onto Jaximus, but Jaximus answers it back with a spear at range. The kill pickup bottom and the turret grab is going to put things at a 300 gold lead right now for Quantic, but with Curse Academy doing a lot of good work on the mid-outer. Might be able to answer that back quickly. Apple comes in to shore things up mid lane as Gunza returns out, and Prime holding things down up top to make sure fabbbyyy does not have his way. Probably some much needed XP up there for Prime as well, just to sort of get things back into good shape after a really, really rough early jungling phase.
Yeah, that's going to even things up, because now he just hit level 6. He was 2 levels behind OneBadBrad, but OneBadBrad got killed there, lost his buffs, and is basically at the same point as Prime right now. I believe their gold is actually even. Actually, Prime has a little bit more than OneBadBrad does currently. So that next blue buff went over to Jaximus in the middle so he can continue his siege onto Ahri, who doesn't sustain very well at all. So he's just going to keep poking him out of lane constantly, and you can see he brought a bunch of health potions to lane here.
Yeah, jungle troubles just abound for Curse Academy, as they haven't been able to give anything over to SuNo. And with the 2v2 lane in mid, it's been awkward to say the least. fabbbyyy can't really stand up to Apple's damage and beefiness, and will just have to take the shots and keep his distance in general. Lane ward down for Curse Academy, going to come in, drops the fear. Locodoco comes up, the Ignite's burning, might not be enough. Jaximus in trouble as the stun from Gunza lands. Locodoco ult gets there. SuNo going to have some help as they're going to go 4 strong in mid lane with Tibbers down. They'll just keep it 3 strong, and SuNo going to go back, get some goodies. Rhux going to try and work through Tibbs. We'll see if they keep the pressure on here to answer another turret. Apple up top with fabbbyyy just poking at each other, not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, that was a very good Spirit Rush there out from SuNo. He almost ate it there to Jaximus. Jaximus was right on top of him, and the Spirit Rush got him right out. And he barely sustained himself from the damage of the Ignite. He was sticking on him, and he got away with about 100 HP on that. The follow-up and everybody converging is something that you really don't expect this early in the game. It's only 10 minutes, but Locodoco was right there on the side with an ace in the hole, picking up the kill and giving himself a blue buff to continue sieging.
Yeah, and I got to say, Locodoco, both his presence of mind, maneuvering, everything on point so far this game, as that really could have been a bad situation down bottom if the jump and bump had landed from OneBadBrad. Instead, he manages to get out the side of it with a really, really well-timed flash and that kill pick earlier as Apple came down bottom. Apple's ult back up and ready to go. Prime just hanging out up top, relaxing, chilling out, maxing.
All cool and all.
Yeah. And Jaximus and SuNo finally going to get their 1v1 lane, at least for a little while. Gunza back, and in comes Tsatsulow from enemy Wraith camp, just going in, throwing wards down in that general area along the Benson's Lane Avenue there. It's right now, what is that, 600 gold lead for Quantic. Not much of a stretch here. They've managed to hold on, though. 2 kills to 1 and a single tower in their favor. As nobody wants to make the wrong move, top outer going to fall, and that will give a 200 gold lead to Curse Academy. Not so much as you'd be worried about. 200 gold spread across the entire team. Not too bad. 12:35 off the clock. And no real advantage from either side here. This one could take a while to really swing one way or another. Or it could be that they make it into the team fight phase and one side just really barrels over another. But either way, I'm interested to see how it's going to go.
Yeah, Curse is making a move for this blue once again. They have the timer on it. They know it's up right now, but they're gonna be outnumbered here because Apple has Stand Unite, so Kennen's coming down. fabbbyyy trying to reinforce before the fight even starts.
Jaximus in trouble as SuNo gets in. Ace in the hole, gonna slide through as OneBadBrad just wasn't in the way enough. Tsatsulow gets taunted by Apple. Apple gonna grab the kill there. fabbbyyy stuck at mid lane. Rhux gonna head down bottom and just farm up whatever he can before probably beating not necessarily a hasty retreat. But gotta keep it mindful that people probably gonna come pay him a visit down bottom. Quantic 3 strong in the mid lane as they've got time. Only fabbbyyy there to defend. OneBadBrad in the jungle looking for a friend. He's not gonna find one. Mid outer gonna fall now as Quantic gets some nice picks and a very bold attempt on blue by Curse Academy.
Yeah, even if the ace in the hole had hit Locodoco and it was absorbed, I'm pretty sure the Spirit Rush from SuNo would have picked that up regardless. He did have Apple using the Stand United on him, and Apple was looking for that taunt earlier. They couldn't get it off until Tsatsulow's silence from the Dark Wind had worn off. So he eventually got it and picked up the kill for himself. And it looks like Quantic going to rotate and get a dragon. But we're free.
Kill count swings 4-1, and now a 2,000 gold lead stretches out in front of Quantic. Tsatsulow looking for a friend, and we'll find a Tibbers.
Oh.
Not going to keep him comfy at night, though, as that Tibbers was pointy and on fire, and he's going to get the kill there as Gunza goes 101. Jaximus sending out some spears. Apple could have tanked it, but he decided to let Prime soak that one up. That's friendship for you.
Mm-hmm. Guy with the extra HP, just walk out of the way and let your jungler take it. He hasn't been having a hard game.
No, yeah, he's been doing just fine. Jaximus catches a taunt. Apple can't get him in close to the turret. Curse Academy going to go 2 strong in mid, with Apple the only one here to defend, but with not a ton of range or a ton of damage, and Quantic in close enough. Rhux manages to pick up bottom outer all by his lonesome, and he's going to close it down to 1.6k gold game. 2 turrets apiece now, with a 4-kill advantage on Quantic. 15 minutes off the clock. Blue buff over to Jaximus, and Curse Academy definitely still in this one. It's so hard to tell. Quantic have gotten a couple of good looks there. They've been able to really capitalize on a couple of picks, but it is in no way indicative what the team fight phase is going to look like. We'll see if Curse Academy got the stuff. Red buff there, Prime just not geared up to fight OneBadBrad. They are on par level-wise and will get the red buff and walk away for, I think, the first time this game.
I think so.
Snuck one out earlier when we weren't looking, but certainly had a lot of trouble controlling buffs. I mean, you could see there that last fight, Quantic realizing it, however, and adjusting accordingly. So Quantic definitely on their toes here and playing this game in a very heads-up kind of way.
Yeah, so there's two things I want to point out is Tsatsulow and Gunza both have oracles, and it's only 15 minutes in the game. They're both level 7, running around in the enemy jungle, clearing these wards out. And Gunza's actually walking through his own jungle, because his jungle's been warded up for so long. And the other thing I wanted to point out was, looks like Rhux is going straight on to SuNo here.
SuNo gonna try and get away from it. Turns it around as he gets enough range to keep Rhux at bay and misses a charm, so Rhux is gonna get out of that one okay.
Alright, so, like I was saying, Locodoco has 100% kill participation. Nothing has happened without him being a part of it on this map. So, I don't know if that's indicative of whether or not he's the playmaker or the shot caller in this match, or it's Curse trying to focus him and he's just there at the right time. He's just showing up. And like you said, he's been having a great presence of mind in this game, and a great presence in lane.
Yeah. He would be only he would only have kill participation on 4 of those, but he got that ace in the hole, managed to slide it through and steal some love away from SuNo. SuNo not in too bad a shape though. 0-3. 202 on Apple. Pretty big story right now, as the 112 CS is just a good look right there, especially with Prime having trouble. You're going to want that strong front line to try to deal with Rhux and OneBadBrad, who are just going to be bringing a whole lot of heat down on Quantic once they do find some team fights around the map. 1.8k gold lead right now for Quantic, as not a whole lot's been happening. The Curse Academy certainly feel like they are playing a bit more of a defensive game compared to those first 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, fabbbyyy has a 30 CS lead on Apple right now, and he's bought the Zhonya's Hourglass already, but Apple has already answered with his own Negatron Cloak, which will probably turn into something like a Spirit Visage. So he can't exactly poke him out of lane, and fabbbyyy's looking possibly for that next dragon to have a team fight group up, because that's what this team comp is looking like right now, is they'll have a Fiddlesticks on top of the Zhonya Kennen with the Slicing Maelstrom going, possibly on top of the Cataclysm, and Locodoco taking a big spear there.
Yeah, they always do the ping, and then you look, and it's like, well, that wasn't that much. That was like a fifth of his health. Ping gets a little excited sometimes. They're in trouble. Ping.
Yeah, but Locodoco,
healed back up. 2 minutes to Dragon.
Yeah, he's got the Bloodthirster already, stacking that up. Going to heal himself very, very quickly there. And Quantic has a pick comp right now. I said this originally, where they have the ace in the hole with the Spirit Rush and the follow-up from the Assault and Battery from Prime. It's just a big pick comp here. And even if you try to pick them off, Apple will be there to answer. And that's what he's been doing all game. That's why CS is a little down, because he's been answering all of these picks. They tried to pick Locodoco, he's there. They try to engage a fight with SuNo, he's there. So he's becoming a big presence in this. And he was a big presence in the last game we saw him in as well.
So, SuNo gonna go walkabouts, head back towards mid lane. Locodoco handling things there. Basically been free farming for the most part, as that range just really too much for Jaximus to deal with. The odd spear flying through has taken a chunk off of Locodoco here and there, but nothing too bad. Prime up top waiting for fabbbyyy to get out of shape, and fabbbyyy just unfortunate wait there for Prime. fabbbyyy gonna head back home.
And it looks like they're gonna be 3 strong up top. As he backs, so they might give up a turret if he goes through with it.
Yeah,
and they're going to continue to push
for them to collapse on that, and they weren't aware of Prime up top. Locodoco up top now as well, and they are just going to burn through this top outer turret. Quantic going to pick up their third of the game, finish off all the outer turrets, and down it goes in a rush. Locodoco going to get credit for that one. 19 minutes 27 off the clock. SuNo left to his own devices mid lane. Got Gunza there. So they're going to go 4 strong. Going to be able to land the charm. Jaximus turns around, gets started up. Stuns in place, and Gunza trying to threaten as much as he can. Won't be enough to save it. Mid-outer going to fall, and Curse Academy answer it back. Keep it 3 turrets apiece.
And the Dragon's up in 10 seconds right now. I don't know if Curse are going to rotate that direction or have the timer for it, but Quantic are looking for it.
Gunza dodging it over, catches a Bushwhacker. Forced to flash out as Rhux catches him on a flank angle there. Dragon up.
Oh, they might get their own blue. Looks like it goes over to Locodoco there, picking that one up for himself. No smite used from Prime because they want to contest the dragon.
Sometimes you just you gotta get it over to Locodoco. Very, very close to that one. Going over to Jaximus as that spear came in good. Just a little too late, though.
Yeah, and I think they might have been trying to bait the smite from OneBadBrad, because if he'd used it, then it would have been their dragon for sure. But not going to fall for that one, so good play by him. And a good presence of mind as well to know that dragon is the next point of contention here. And Locodoco going to pull it out.
Quantic forced down a little low. Curse Academy. Gonna swing up, clean things away. Apple's around. He's got Stand United, so he can keep mid lane cleared and pushing in the right direction. That's going to be Gunza. Prime, sorry, that catches the spear.
SuNo's off on the side. He wants to come in with a Spirit Rush from an awkward angle here onto the back line.
Dragon running a little bit low. OneBadBrad tries to come in. Rhux going to drop the ult. Gunza turns it around on him. Prime off to the far side of the fight. Rhux well out front. SuNo going to get picked up, or going to pick up Tsatsulow. Apple Stand United over onto the other side, but Annie and Prime both off the field. Can he get charmed short? SuNo trying to catch it up. Can't do it. Curse Academy looking for a pick onto this dragon now. Apple not happy to let it go. Locodoco's in there. Jaximus is low. fabbbyyy going to rush forward onto Locodoco. Cataclysm onto SuNo, and he's going to go down. Apple now on the run as OneBadBrad and fabbbyyy chasing down the Shen. Can he pick up fabbbyyy? Mike got the stuff, does he? No! The little squirrel's too quick. No, he wasn't!
Oh, that's a 3 for 5 overall in the favor of Curse Academy there. Only Rhux and I believe OneBadBrad made out of it alive for Curse. And they pick up a dragon, so they actually take their first gold lead of the game, being 1,000 ahead now, equaling turrets. 2 kills down, but have a dragon.
And again, Quantic was looking for that awkward angle, but Rhux went big. Forced a weird split for Quantic, and they just couldn't find their way back into it, especially with SuNo and Locodoco being locked out to the side of the fight. SuNo ended up chasing Rhux well into the jungle and couldn't get back in time. Ended up coming back to a Cataclysm and a quick nap on the pool.
Yeah, and SuNo, as soon as the fight started, he had actually backed off from that little corner in the blue buff. So he actually started walking, so then the fight started, Rhux jumped in, and then he used his Spirit Rush right as Tsatsulow came in front of him with the Crow Storm, and he missed his charm to the right, missed his charm to the left, missed his Orbit Deception to the right, and then he basically killed Tsatsulow with just the DFG and his Spirit Rush, which wasn't ideal. He could have actually saved some of those charges for moving around and having the mobility to catch Rhux. So, missing the skill shots does, people say that Ahri's a pretty easy champion because you can miss all your skill shots and still kill people, but it would have been ideal if he'd hit those. But he still did pick up some kills for his trouble.
Especially just to get the support off the field. Rhux, a much bigger target there, especially with 177 CS, very nearly leading the game. But is going to be just a little bit too behind fabbbyyy and 13 or so behind Locodoco. But, just really, that's strong farming. Keep in mind that Rhux was in a lane against Locodoco. Not a 2v1 lane, but was in a lane against Locodoco, which is one of those things that's very, very easy to get ranged out and beat up on. Prime going to come over the wall. Doesn't catch anybody, but does put a nice little fear into Curse Academy. They'll back it off, reconnoiter, find another way into it. 1,000 gold lead right now for Curse Academy. 27-48 in, 23-48. I can't see numbers.
Whoa! And it looks like Apple doesn't have his Stand United just yet, but he's going to start dueling Rhux right here. It's going to be a one-on-one if he does go after him. And in the middle, they're just going back and forth right now. And the DFG was completed for SuNo before that fight started. He did use it there. Blade of the Ruined King coming out for Rhux. He's going to try to sustain, push these lanes up. Sunfire Cape looks like it's going to be his next buy. And we have the Iron of the Lock... Oh, I did it again! Locket of the Iron Solari. There we go. Coming out.
It's an iron of the Locket Solari.
Iron of the Locket Solari.
Yeah, you make waffles with it. It's a waffle iron, but it makes them in the eagle shape. It's a pretty good item because the waffles, the waffle passive.
Yeah, but no Aegis even completed on Prime, though. So it looks like OneBadBrad is winning in the gold right now. He does have about 1.5k more, so that is the completed Locket of the Iron Solari, as opposed to just the components of an Aegis here.
No. And I have to say, I'm really impressed by Rhux's farm. 195 CS. Wow. On a Shyvanna, that's impressive in the first place, and then to go beyond that was on the lane against an AD carry and still managed to get that CS up there. So Rhux in really good shape. Quantic going to go push down mid lane here, and they will find some friends to hug as they close in on mid inner. Apple and fabbbyyy fighting it out up top. Apple just going to give it away as the minion line pushes into turret. Mid inner looks to go down uncontested here. Quantic grab mid inner turret, take it to 4 turrets to 3, close down the gold gap to 400 now. Curse Academy still out front, if just, but the map control for the moment at least belongs to Quantic.
Yeah, this is the new meta coming out here from Curse Academy. We saw it over by the Azubu Taipei Assassins, where they ran Jax instead of Tryndamere, and they decided that Tryndamere's banned, fabbbyyy can play Kennen, let's play that, and it seems to work. So I think the linchpins of this are Shyvanna constantly pushing, the Nidalee Fiddlestick's middle lane, and they took away Fiddlesticks, I believe. Fiddlesticks and Nidalee immediately is what they picked up. So I think those are how the composition operates in the early game. That's what I'm thinking right now. Is that Fiddlesticks just kind of makes it so you can't dive the Nidalee, you just get feared off. And it's just a point-and-click CC, as opposed to like a Nami bubble, where you had to land it. And if you miss it, or they flash it, you can't flash a fear. It happens immediately. Point-click, they are feared. So it's very easy to execute. And so I'm trying to dissect this comp. It's extremely interesting to me, because it looks like there's a lot of magic damage coming out here from the entire composition. Kennen does magic damage, Nidalee does magic damage, Fiddlesticks does magic damage, and Shyvanna does a lot of magic damage with Burnout. So their only physical damage sources are their auto attacks, which nobody really has a buff auto attack. Shyvanna, sort of, because he does have Blade of the Ruined King, which actually adds on magic damage, I believe. No, it's physical damage. It's physical damage. That's why he gets
I think it was magic damage at first, right? And then they changed it.
It's physical damage. So
that mixed damage is just too ridiculous to try to do.
It's so interesting to me, but I do think that the Fiddlesticks Nidalee in the middle lane is what makes this comp operate correctly. But Shyvanna's been in every comp as well, so those three have always been in that no marksman comp. It doesn't seem to matter what you put in that top lane, whether it's Kennen, Jax, or Tryndamere. Quantic may have thought that it was the Tryndamere, and they banned that out. So sadly, it's a round robin, so they won't get another chance to ban something out if the game doesn't go their way. But they're dead even on gold right now. There's 300 between these teams, a little bit in favor of Quantic right now. But the farm across the board is just looking beautiful. Locodoco, 231, 200, and above 200 for both fabbbyyy and Rhux here. And almost for Jaximus.
I got to say, Curse Academy, their team fights have gone fairly well for them, and they've got a strong front line there. I mean, you've got Rhux with a whole lot of tankiness and that extra damage added on. So he's one of those people you just can't ignore. They're going to get away with another dragon. That's now 2 for Curse Academy, 1 for Quantic as they slid the first one out from under Curse Academy. It's going to be a 500 gold lead for CA. Kind of, I don't know. CA feels awkward. I should just call him Curse, but I can't call him Curse because of Curse Academy. Oh, the woes of a caster.
You know, you just gave Riot an idea for a waffle iron.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Which is, I mean, yeah, my job's pretty much done for today.
I
would buy one. Are you telling me you wouldn't buy the iron of the Locket Solari?
I would.
You would buy that item? You'd buy a t-shirt and the iron of the Locket Solari and make some iron Solari-shaped waffles. Locodoco walks himself into a bad neighborhood, but is going to get some good damage down on a OneBadBrad. Cataclysm going to come in late SuNo to the far side of it. fabbbyyy doing what he can, but it's going to be Rhux that comes in, picks up SuNo. Apple in, tanking it out, and Gunza takes fabbbyyy fairly low. They're going to get Tsatsulow off the field. Rhux running out of friends here. He's going to have to go on the run. Prime wants to catch it up. Locodoco with the ace in the hole. Prime extremely low, as is the entirety of Curse and Apple. Just beautiful maneuvering right there, but Locodoco's a little bit too far out of range. Gunza can't get there, and Curse Academy are going to have to walk it back to the pool 2 for 1 as SuNo gets locked up in a Cataclysm. But Quantic's fight all the way for the most part, as the positioning in the jungle just too awkward for Curse Academy. They couldn't collapse on the river the way that they needed to.
Yeah, and Locodoco got a flash right out of that bottleneck there and put himself in a very good position outside of the Cataclysm. And I believe they were focusing on Prime there for a good bit, and they just couldn't get him, and then they just flashed away. And the thing here is Nidalee, if you continue to chase this composition, she's going to turn around and throw spears at you if you give her the distance. So you got to make sure that you either take her out or you make sure that she's in the front line of the retreat. Because right there, she couldn't do anything. If she could have just turned around and kept throwing spears, then it would have stopped the siege. And it does sort of stop it, but they end up picking that top lane tier 2 turret, and they end up with a 1,000 gold lead here for Quantic after that fight. which I believe was 2 for 1. Yes, it was 2 for 1. Iron of the Locket Solari.
SuNo down. Iron of the Locket Solari. Best waffles this side of Runeterra. Available soon at the Riot store. That's a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. Pink Ward going to go down. OneBadBrad going to have to give over what by rights has belonged to him for a very long time. The red buff in Quantic's jungle. He's probably none too happy about that, but he'll let it go.
The ping's coming out for the mid lane here for Quantic. So I don't know if that's their next objective, but the only outer turret remaining for them is the bottom turret. And that's kind of one... Oh, yeah. Inner turrets. Sorry, they're outer of the base.
Yeah, outside the base. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
you got me.
Only lane turret left. Yeah. There you go.
So it looks like they're gonna make Apple split push. So they're doing the Shen here. They're making him split push with that Sunfire cape. He's gonna be clearing those minions a little faster than he normally would, and they're gonna start pushing something else here. Locodoco has double buffs, and that's gonna help him pick people off here. And once again, Tsatsulow with the oracles just doing work, clearing out these wards and applying some pressure and making people face check bushes. But once again, Gunza answering that. And once you start the oracles game, you basically start it for the entire game. First oracles you buy, the other support's like, all right, I see you, and I'll buy an oracles, and then I'll buy another, and then it's like, well, I gotta match that. I gotta match that.
It's like the olden days when oracles lasted forever. It just became who can get oracles earliest, and then you would run around.
Ooh,
playing happy fun times.
They're trying to get Tsatsulow to check this, but nope.
And they will all show themselves, so Quantic got to give that one away. Spear going to be short by any measure. A standard comes down, but that's not going to come to much.
And the warding coming out here is a little bit in favor of Quantic currently around that Baron pit. They have a lot of pink wards and a lot of green wards up in that area. But it looks like Apple going to go down bottom and start pushing this. There is a big minion wave down there, and Curse Academy are going to be forced to make a move here.
And they are going to make a big one here on to mid-inner. A lot of lane clear here, and Charm's going to land onto a minion. They have an awkward angle to try to clear the lane. Rhux playing on the other side of the turret. Prime comes in with a bump. Rhux can't get over to Gunza, but they will find Gunza. Stand United going to get canceled. As Gunza goes down, Rhux going to run low. Ace in the hole. Doesn't find its way through. It's going to be SuNo with the Spirit Rush. Tsatsulow now onto Prime. And the Spear going to help out, but Tsatsulow going to fall again. It ends up 2 for 1, and very nearly putting some hurt on the OneBadBrad. They're going to grab a turret and defend mid-inner. Nicely played there by Quantic, as Gunza ends up being the sacrificial lamb, and if you're going to give up somebody, hey, why not the support?
Yeah, that was a 2 for 1 there, even though it was a 4v5. The shield came out from Apple there onto Gunza. Gunza still got dropped, and the Apple never made it into that fight. But I think that actually worked out in their favor, because they got more gold because they got that last outer turret. Outer of the base.
Outer of the base, which is how you would normally say that in conversation, casual conversation. fabbbyyy cleaning up some wolves there, and squirrels eat wolf meat all the time. Little known fact. Look it up. 25 seconds to dragon.
You always have these interesting facts, and I'm like, oh god, is that true? You have me in this hold where you can tell me anything.
Yeah, packs of vicious squirrels will find lone wolves and chase them down, climb onto the wolves, and they bite at the spine, you see, until the wolf falls over. The wolves actually still alive when the squirrels start to eat them.
See, I would think
horrifying fact about nature.
Now that they climb up them, that's very interesting, because I think they'd be like a Wolverine and go for the jugular and pull them down.
Nope. Squirrels are horrible creatures. Have you ever seen a squirrel? They're very dangerous. Curse Academy, gotta contest the dragon.
Alright, so it looks like QSS coming out here for SuNo. That's so that he doesn't get locked up by the Fiddlestick Spear. And Prime looking for the smite, doesn't get it. And Curse Academy
drops the fear onto Gunza. Gunza going to catch a spear and is exploded. fabbbyyy getting the credit for that one. Prime over the wall there. Apple going to come in. Nice taunt. Jaximus runs low. Forced out the back of the fight, but Rhux too big a frontliner. Ignites there. Shen going to get it. Didn't see what got the job done, but he certainly finished it. Prime going to walk it away. Not sure if he got a Q off there. I saw animations happen, but I got distracted by the blinking lights. Rhux going to try and move on to Locodoco, and Locodoco just with no way out of that one. Stand United going to come in. Do they have time? They do not. Stand United will not finish up there. SuNo on the run now as OneBadBrad, Rhux, and fabbbyyy all looking for a big kill. Onto the Fox Lady. They're going to get it. Prime queuing in the direction of home. threatening towards CA, but not going to go there.
The
And it's going to be dead even on the gold right now, even with a 3-turret lead for Quantic.
So that was a very confusing fight for me because Quantic came out on top. They traded a support for Jaximus, who I guess is the mid laner in this one. I don't even know anymore. Oh, Quantic!
OneBadBrad! Can he get away? The stun's going to buy some time. Apple on the run, gets through the wall, beautifully spaced. OneBadBrad got a long run. He's just going to turn around. Was that a failed flash? Tried to get through into the blue pit and couldn't do it.
He didn't have the mana for a standard combo. He had to flash, and he went through the fat part of the wall and just got knocked back over. But something that was confusing to me is Locodoco, when he got feared, he thought he was safe. He had cleanse available. He could have cleansed Tsatsulow's fear, but you know, when you're sitting in a Fiddlestick fear, it's always longer than you think it is. You're like, oh, this isn't going to be... I'm still waiting on it. Still, oh, okay. And then that gave time for OneBadBrad to come up with the flag standard toss, and Locodoco was forced to flash, but Rhux was right there after him. The Cataclysm came down, and Locodoco was done for. So if he had cleansed the original CC, that where Jaximus is, or not Jaximus, OneBadBrad's body is right now, he probably would have lived. But, you know, that's just me being theory crafting right there. He did have cleanse available and didn't choose to use it. Maybe saving it for later.
Can we talk about how incredibly good Spirit Visage is? Now, I was just looking around, and you know, there's a couple of them out on the field. Just got finished up for Rhux there. It's such a good item now. Ton of health. And a pause out from Locodoco. FPS lag.
You know, it's actually cost effective even before you have a champion that has healing effects. It's already like 500 gold.
Yeah, it's like 20.
It's something ridiculous.
20 health regen per 5. Yeah, I mean 400 health. It's a really great item.
And then you add on the fact that Shen already has a regen ability with his Vorpal Blades, and then that's increased by 20%. It's just a fantastic item overall. Magic resist, cooldown reduction. Yeah, it's free stats. It basically replaced Banshee's Veil through and through. The only reason you get Banshee's Veil is if you're an ADC who can't use QSS, or they have an ability that comes at you like the Assault and Battery. Then you'll get the Banshee's Veil, because then it'll absorb that. That's pretty much the only reason for it anymore. That or a Malphite, which kind of doesn't exist in this game, or in the current meta.
Yeah, Malphite, they got rid of him. He's out.
He's gone.
Quantic gonna circle up. Question mark ping out from Cursed Academy. Prime gonna run the front, and they'll send a little spear through. Prime waiting on a pick here onto Jaximus. The ace in the hole fizzles. Not sure what happened there.
And actually gonna take a look at that.
Not sure if it was Prime's ult.
It looked like it went through, but I don't know if it did any damage.
No, it's on the short cooldown, I think. Is it?
Is it? Yeah, I think it is. You're right. Huh.
But yeah, well, something happened there. Possibly the Prime ult.
No, he got it off.
Juggled it low. It went through? Okay.
Yeah, it went through. Huh.
Well, never mind me.
Yeah, it's only got a 60-second cooldown for him, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because there's... It's 37 minutes. It does not feel like a 37, 45
No, they have been neck and neck. Nobody's snowballed the game yet, which is something you typically see by now. You're like, oh, this game is over. But it's neck and neck between these teams, and they are just doing the Baron dance right now. Oracle's coming out for both Prime and Gunza.
And Cursed Academy just going to start it up. Quantic going to have to come in on this one, and Rhux super beef all over the place. Ult's going to come over the wall onto SuNo. SuNo cleanses out of it. Apple into the front. OneBadBrad going to run away the rest of Quantic. Apple just going on the chase. Prime's going to come in and start up a little party. Drops one onto Jaximus. fabbbyyy drops the ult in there. Who's going to go down first? Looks like SuNo off the field first. Apple's still got some time, but Locodoco ends up in a big old pile of Cursed Academy love. Can't handle that kind of friendly hugging and decides to check out to the pool. 3 for none right now. Cursed Academy going to grab Prime as well. Gunza just off in the bushes somewhere looking for a place to hide.
What do you do against this team? That is the second time that Apple's gotten a 4-man Shadow Dash taunt, and nothing came of it. Kennen, fabbbyyy has the Zhonya's Hourglass, and they just have so much damage here, but no ADC. So there isn't really a super squishy person to focus. You focus Kennen, he's going to use the Zhonya's Hourglass. Tsatsulow will peel for people, and it's just so hard to figure out what to do against this team in this rising meta right now.
Yeah, and a lot of what Quantic has been able to walk away with is really great positioning and disadvantageous starts for Cursed Academy. there, Curse Academy got themselves a straight-up fight in the river. There was really no place to hide, not a bunch of great places to maneuver for Quantic, and they were able to really put the front line, OneBadBrad and Rhux, to work, keep Jaximus at the back, burn Apple down, and force SuNo and Locodoco into positions that they very, very likely didn't want to be in. And it just really worked out for him because, I mean, look at Rhux and just think about that. Got the Blade of the Ruined King, got all kinds of tankiness. So not only is Rhux going to be at the front unkillable, but is going to be doing significant damage as well. Mid-inner going to come under attack now for Curse Academy and looks to fall. No, the line gets cleared away. Gunza going to finally find a death here to OneBadBrad unless he grows wings and learns to fly. Don't think that's going to happen. Down he goes.
And so OneBadBrad picking up the Banshee's Veil, I had said that, you know, it's more cost-effective to pick up a Spirit Visage, but he opted for the Banshee's Veil because he wants that shield. He wants it so that he can't be engaged on. If he has the shield and the Annie comes in and throws down the Tibber stun, he can still answer. He can still do a flag and drag to counter that engagement. So it's a good pickup by him there to stop being, just basically counter-engage if they are engaged upon.
And Tibber stun, the taunt, a lot of good...
Yeah, there's a lot of good engagement tools here. I said that in Champion Select that Quantic was looking at an engaged team here, but they can't really engage onto this. Fiddlestick has so much disengage potential. And they really have to try and get to this back line, focus down maybe Jaximus, because he doesn't have any escapes, if they can blow him up. Ooh, SuNo! Taking
Catches
a half
a spear. Gotta have his health, and mid inhibitor is gonna fall. Quantic just gonna retreat themselves into a lost inhibitor there, as they don't really have any options with Baron buff spinning on Curse Academy. They're going to have to play it close to the vest here. Rolling out of the base, not going to find anybody to play with, though. Curse Academy cleared away, head over to Dragon, and we'll get that for free.
Yep, and that's going to be, I believe, their 4th Dragon of the game. With that Baron that they had picked up previously as well, they now have a 5k gold lead, 41 minutes in the game. This is the longest game that we've seen this entire tournament.
So, yeah, we've have we gone past 40? I don't think we have. A lot of stomps.
I don't think we have at all.
Yeah, this one, the closest one. Curse Academy going to get the jump on Prime and Locodoco, and they will be wiped off the map. Cataclysm from OneBadBrad will finish off Vi. Gunza now in trouble as Rhux comes in. Going to get the Charm and the Tibber stun, and they'll basically even each other out. But look at that. Rhux just beating up on SuNo. SuNo's going to have to spin the ult to get away. Gunza going to make it under the Nexus turrets. An Apple there to run the Dragon back, but man, is Rhux just putting out some serious damage against the squishies, showing that, again, it's not just the fact that Rhux can initiate and stand in a fight forever. On top of that, going to be doing serious damage to all the damage dealers, on top of not dying forever. Apple taunting, and they're going to basically ignore him. Curse Academy just going for Nexus turrets here. SuNo sent back to the pool by Rhux. 3 down, 61 seconds to SuNo, and that's going to be game. GG calls.
Wow. And so I think everybody was expecting Quantic to go 3-0 and possibly Curse to go 2-1 in this, but it's going to be the opposite, or at least unless there's an upset from one of the Team Vex or Otacool. And people were really kind of hesitant about this team composition with no ADC, because people thought that when the Azubu Type A Assassins won with this composition, they beat a less experienced and weaker team. Now, this is showing that Curse Academy can stand up against Quantic and had this 10k gold lead at the very end and not pull it out until then. And they had some great wombo combo there. That last fight, it was a 3-on-2, and they just annihilated them. We were talking about stomps, and they just got... There's 2 champions who just stomped straight into the ground. Cataclysm eventually just finishing off Prime, and that was just fantastic play. And if this is the new meta, then... we got to get on our research.
Indeed so. And I got to say, it wasn't all wine and roses for Curse Academy. They were off to a bit of a rough start, but managed to hold it together very nicely. They're playing in not always the best of situations. Is one of those things that you really got to be able to do as a team. Curse Academy does it nicely there. Quantic can't hold it together long enough. Curse Academy gets some nice picks and some solid team fights, and we'll see how they do as we roll along here in the group stage part 2 of the Spring Promotion Qualifier. We'll be back in just a few minutes with game number 2.